So.
Sorry. Hi, I'm Roberta.
And I am Robert.
And today, we're doing a review of House LLC.
That's a 2015 low-budget movie. Do you remember what it was about?
Oh yeah.
Tell us.
Well, we're starting with a documentary team that's trying to figure out what happened at a haunted house in 2009 where 15 people died, a mixture of staff and people who were attending this haunted house. There's some footage of it. It gets really chaotic, and you can't really tell what happened and what caused it. So they're going back and looking at the old footage to try and determine, why did the staff and people who attended this haunted house die in this house?
Exactly. And, though, so let's see. It takes place in the fictional town of Abaddon, New York.
I thought that was real.
No, that's fictional.
Oh, they made that up.
And it
You're so smart.
And they set up the haunted house in the abandoned Abaddon Hotel.
Yeah, it was like really abandoned.
Now, I know you've never been much of a Bible reader, but Abaddon.
More like a skim reader.
Abaddon is in the Bible. And,
oh, is it?
Yeah, Abaddon is basically the angel of the abyss, sort of a demon. He's a real scary fellow. And alternatively, it's also a place. It's essentially the bottomless pit of hell, Abaddon. So they're playing little, Catholic hell games there, and
the non-Bible readers are like, oh, okay.
Yeah, heathens. It's lost on heathens such as yourself.
Heathens.
The interesting part is, well, this whole thing's interesting. It's an enjoyable movie, but the Abaddon Hotel was abandoned prior so that they could take it over and make a haunted house in it. And some of the found footage, it's not really found footage, but one of the survivors had it, if you will, and it shows them going into the hotel for the very first time before they start putting, props and things like that in there to make it spooky. And
Wait. Back it up.
Yeah.
First, they have the footage where they do the cheesy get to know you thing, where they're hanging out in the car and they're joking. It's like every horror movie starts this way, where there's joking and stop it. They did that build up, and then they go, oh my god, this place is so ratchet, and then they go and I just want to give people the context that there's they go through the footage and there's going to be a little bit of a build up to get there.
It's like a lot of sort of fake documentaries, especially horror movies, where the documentary team starts the whole ball rolling, but then of course the rest of the movie is told through the old footage.
Yes.
Because it would be boring to say, oh yeah, well then I remember this guy, he went downstairs. They'd rather show it. I mean, it's a movie, it's not an audio drama, right?
And there's a lot of why are you filming this right now? It's oh, because we got to. And
so
okay,
silly.
just pause your reality for a minute and just imagine someone wants to film
They
all
never
of this.
They never tell you why things are sort of haunted there. They never tell you why the Abaddon Hotel was originally abandoned. They kind of indicate the first foray into the basement before they start haunting the place that maybe there was some satanic worship there.
Yes,
There's
they find
there's
clues.
a pentagram and a bunch of Bibles. Some of them are burned.
Whoa, this is a little weird.
So something mysterious happened to scare everybody away, and then these.
But they write it off because they're saying, oh, well, we're going to make a haunted house in here.
Yeah, we'll use it as a prop.
This is going to be so awesome. It's going to actually be scary. And there's a subtle note of no, it actually is scary.
As you know, I haunted a few houses
myself
growing up. And I'll tell you, if I was haunting a house, including our own house, have the trick-or-treaters come through and scare the Jesus out of them. But if something in my fake haunted house started moving or playing music, let's talk about what's the spooky stuff that starts happening in the found footage. What?
First things first, things are starting to move around on their own. They're setting up for a haunted house, everything's going fine. Like, they have really scary props that look like clowns, that look like...
A lot of mannequins.
Yeah,
in
a lot of
costume,
mannequins.
with a mask on or whatever.
But they'll set it up in one room, and then all of a sudden they're in another room, and it's like, oh, it's in here. And that just kind of like starts to fuck with them because things are moving. Oh, sorry.
Let me tell you, if crap like that in my house started moving around, I'd call timeout. Like a mannequin. These things are, they're 6 feet tall. They give them machetes and clown equipment and stuff.
But write it off as like they probably are stoners, and they're probably like, oh, I must have forgot I moved this.
Well, I mean, I think like one of the dudes is like, I think Tony's screwing with us by moving crap around.
They start blaming each other.
So.
Sorry.
Case in point. The piano.
Ooh.
One of the guys sits down with a dummy. I don't know. I think the dummy's name is like Hugo.
They had a prop sitting at the piano, still. I'll be the prop.
Like a mannequin sitting at the piano. And I forget. All these characters blend together for me. Like, I wrote down their names and stuff, and I can't remember any of them, and the characters are like all the same anyway. Anyway, he starts playing a song, and actually, if you were to speed it up, he plays the piano really slowly, and then it's the Meow Mix commercial, I think. It goes like meow, 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 but it's the piano. Meow, 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 but he's playing it slow. Anyway, throughout the film, every once in a while, you hear the piano play a little bit, and Hugo, the dummy, is still sitting at it. It's creepy.
So they get closer and closer to putting on this haunted house when people in the little group that, it's their business, and the one guy, well, their names are all interchangeable. Steve, John, Carl, whoever the lead guy is like, we're not canceling this. And everyone starts raising alarm bells like, no, this place is actually haunted, like people might get hurt, like shit's moving around, like we're hearing things, like we really shouldn't let people come in here, it could be dangerous. And he's like, no, it'll be fine. And then I believe the girl is starting to just like disassociate. Like she
sleepwalks and starts talking in tongues. And
she's possessed. Something's wrong with her.
She's speaking in like backward. You can't understand what she's saying.
At that point, like many alarm bells should be going off, and then the one character goes missing. And then it's like, did he just leave?
And they're staying, by the way, at the hotel.
Let's sleep in the house that we're haunting with shit.
The abandoned hotel that
with all of our creepy shit. All of our creepy shit, let's just sleep right next to it. Let's sleep with these things that are literally designed to scare the living hell out of people. Like, those faces on those mannequins are like, yeah.
They're masks.
Well,
So, all these people have like 20 or less credits. They're not, and I don't think anybody would recognize them as being in something else. They've done a lot of independent films, some short films.
The lead girl seems like familiar to me. She's been in other stuff.
So there's one of the guys that played Tony, who's one of the main characters. His name's Jared Hacker. Ironically, he is a producer of some kind, and he is currently, or very recently, worked a show that they hired me to do some character work on.
Robert, you got hired on something?
The History Channel. So ironically, we may have worked together, and I didn't know it within the last,
I don't know if he'd recognize you with this insane, dude, where's my card?
I am like a chameleon, but we kind of know we know how the haunted house experiment works. They open on opening night in early October of 2009, and something happens in the basement. There's a little bit of footage. We get to see some stuff firsthand, and 15 people croak, and it's just a mysterious. There was a malfunction, is what everybody says on the news. It's a malfunction.
People scrambling in this footage, like running, screaming, chaos.
And then it never opened again. And of course, all the props and stuff are still in the house. Whoever survived. I think they've made 2 sequels, which I haven't seen. I think somebody else goes back and tries to reopen it, which is not a bright idea. I mean, the hotel closed because of some unknown horrible reason, and 15 people died for some unknown horrible reason. But it's a good haunted house story.
It keeps you glued because you want to know from the footage they tease at the beginning. Like, they tease it from the, like, people standing in line for the haunted house, excited to go in, then they go in, then they fucking die. So you want to know from the jump what happened.
I'm sure that most of the script was improvised as well.
It's a lot of jumps.
And I'll tell you how I know that, because there's one scene where they're testing out the strobe light room or whatever, and one of the main guys comes out of the strobe light and he gets all disoriented and sick, and he actually vomits on camera. That was real. He really got sick and vomited, and luckily they caught it on camera for our sake.
How exciting that must have been to be on set and be like, go! Fucking vomiting! Yes! We caught it! I was on set, I'd be like, hell yeah, bro. Way to get into character. Nailed it.
I mean, I've vomited on camera too, but that was scripted. Let's do lines from the movie.
We gotta keep Hell House fresh.
I thought this was going to be more like Grand Sexual Station.
It was a good line.
It was a good line. It's time to rate House LLC.
Because it really had good, like, jump scares. It had good, it roped me in. I remembered it, even if, like, I didn't remember everything.
She says 4. I might say 3 or 3.5. Because there's not a big payoff.
Heard.
You know, like, it's never obvious what the hell's going on. There's a lot, it's very, very high creep factor. And there is a little, there's a little bit of a sort of a twisty ending. But, somewhere between 3 and 4.
If it's a legit horror movie, it does the job, it scares you, it's entertaining.
And it's super low budget.
But they did a good job with, like, and whenever you add that documentary vibe to it, you can get away with so much in a horror movie. And I think less is more. They didn't try to, like...
Roberta, less is more.